future looks bright. You know that a majority of the volume of international trade is by sea. So seaborne trade will only grow in future. That in itself gives you great encouragement to consider a career in this space. However, like I said, skilled labor. You really have to see what the industry and where the industry is going.
Hello and welcome to the Honest Talk by Freak Folks. I'm Harsh Pandey. For this particular session, our guest will be Miss Malini Dutt ma'am, who is here with us. She holds over 17 years of experience in international trade and investment promotion for geographies of Australia and Europe. Currently, she represents the Belgium port of Antwerp as its India representative. She is the first female international representative for the port of Antwerp, where she is responsible for driving maritime cargo flows between India and Europe via the port of Antwerp and persuading Indian companies to set up a business presence at the port. Previously, she spent close to a decade working for the Australian government, strengthening business relations between India and Australian companies through her varied role of marketing, communication, trade promotion, with a focus on clean technology and water, investment attraction, and innovation showcase. So, first of all, ma'am, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us.
Pleasure to be here.
Same here, ma'am. So, moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is emerging technology trends in shipping and maritime industry. Ma'am, my very first question to you is: the technological revolution has already accelerated to another level. Technologies like robotics, AI, and machine learning, Internet of Things, blockchain, drones, and augmented reality are being harnessed to create a safer, efficient, and more productive environment. Then my question to you is, ma'am, in your opinion, how technology is reshaping the maritime and shipping industry?
The maritime and shipping industry, including ports, is facing various challenges at the moment, right from operational efficiency challenges to, of course, these global trade disruptions. You look at environmental challenges. So there are challenges of all kinds. And I think digital technology is the one which will be a big, big answer to some extent towards these challenges. You rightly pointed out a few emerging technologies, and I'll just outline some initiatives that we have undertaken in some of these areas. So, you look at blockchain, it is a very effective way to transfer data and also bring players together. So, we actually in 2017, in collaboration with an information sharing platform called Nextport, started this pilot program to look at container handling in a more efficient and secure way. So through blockchain technology. So a lot of that was one aspect of it. The second thing is you spoke about drones. We
Yes,
have started using drones for various solutions in the port to
that's
basically
excellent.
monitor a 120-kilometer square parcel of land that we have across Antwerp port, and we're trying to become the port of the future. This is the main basis of which we are doing that, and this port of the future is basically going to be the innovation platform on which you will see a lot of digital technologies being rolled out. So yeah, these are some of the interesting initiatives that we have undertaken as the port. So doing a lot there.
That's really interesting as well as exciting, ma'am. You have told so many important things, and you have focused on the how you are doing, how are you using blockchain technologies to collect data and using data analytics. And my next question to you is: data is one of the most important element of the present era, or actually it is a lifeblood of AI and ML. Do you think with multiple sources pouring data in abundance, big data analytics will be essential technologies improving the operation of shipping industry by deriving a correlation between the data collected and applying relevant and new algorithm automatically on the establishment of any correlation between pieces of information?
You make the question sound very complicated, but a very simple answer is that yes, I do think data is absolutely important. Also, the Port of Antwerp thinks so. Uh, what we are really striving to do is become a data commercialization organization which will gather, store, analyze, and also share data or exchange data with all the logistical players and stakeholders who are part of the chain. Uh, Antwerp port, basically, if you know, is the second largest port in Europe, but we have the largest lock in the world. And through our infrastructure and our staff that are monitoring close to about 15,000 seagoing vessels every year and 60,000 inland navigation vessels, that is a lot of work, and that is where data comes into play. So our IT team realized this potential, and through data optimization and analysis, which was the real opportunity, they were very keen to look at how data can be used to the advantage of actual maritime traffic visibility. So the API, which is the automatic information system data, which is common in and available for years in the air freight, the aviation business. It was only introduced in 2012 as far as maritime is concerned. And also because of the volume of this AIS data, not more than 3 months of data can be stored. So there was no possibility to do some sort of a historical analysis of maritime traffic and do those studies. So now our team is actually making a very good use of that data and trying to look at some use cases which relate to maritime traffic as far as bottlenecks are concerned, delays, peak times, risks. But there are a lot many uses that can be made of this AIS data, and we're looking into it. So absolutely, I think data is very, very crucial today.
Indeed, ma'am. I think you have again told many important things. And ma'am, my next question to you is, or rather, it's a kind of request to you, ma'am. Please share more information how the Port of Antwerp is striving to streamline international trade, ensure cost and time effectiveness, securing and reliability by bringing together value chain players on the common platform using technology.
See, we play the role of a community builder. So we've always believed in streamlining the supply chain and bringing together all these players to facilitate trade. And that's how we benefit our customers. Okay. On your question as to how we are using technology or leveraging technology to streamline trade and bring together the supply chain players, look, first of all, there should be a chain. Okay. And secondly, if there is a chain, good enough if it is a fragmented chain. And that is the starting point for us. So in this process, digitalization is a means to an end. And that is the real goal. So what, I've spoken about Nextport, which is the information sharing platform that we have, a data exchange platform. So we're really leveraging Nextport here, and we're trying to, bring together all these players. So the key components of this basically are data sharing, data governance, that is the big elephant in the room, and then leveraging data and data building blocks to build applications for logistical processes. For example, customs clearance is one process, import flows of containers, looking at ro-ro flows, break bulk, liquid bulk, or even export. So what we're really trying to do through this process is benefit at the micro level to companies, at the meso level for cargo groups, and also at the macro level. So that's one initiative, with the help of Nextport. But as I said that, through technology, we can not only look at trade facilitation in a port, but also operations and connectivity, because ultimately the goods have to go to the European hinterland from the port. So two other things we've done as far as trade facilitation and connectivity are concerned. So on the trade facilitation aspect, we have launched an initiative called a CPU, which is certified pickup. And this goes live as on 1st of July 2021. This is a basically initiative where we are replacing the traditional PIN codes for the release of import containers with a digital PIN code, which is highly secure. So this is an initiative which gives us an USP and has been very well appreciated by the players at the port who are responsible in this chain, be it the haulers, the transport operators, port companies, all the players. And the second initiative is with respect to hinterland connectivity. So if you go to our website, there is something called as the connectivity platform. And what this really does is it is a route planner. So you can actually track if your goods need to move from Antwerp port to, say, Germany, France, any other place within the European hinterland. It gives you a list of carriers and, you know, the multimodal options, so on and so forth. Also, we have the same feature available for maritime options. So if the goods have to now progress to US or Africa, you have the same set of options. And what I'm excited about and what I've heard is we're also coming up with a version 2.0 of this, which will actually give you a comparison between our port and the others in the Hamburg Le Havre range, some of our competitors. So I think that is the way in which, you know, we are using digitalization to achieve competitive excellence and our USPs.
Indeed, ma'am. I think you people are performing super exciting things, and I think this is something we all need to genuinely appreciate and need to learn from this kind of model. Ma'am, my next question to you is, or rather, you have mentioned this in your first answer. You have mentioned about the environment and perhaps I think about green technology. My question to you is, with the world's major industry dedicating the next decade for the reduction of their environmental footprint, how will the shipping industry will contribute to watch out for the same? Do you think green technology can help the maritime sector to carry out its operation in a very cost-effective and environmental friendly way?
So, interesting question. Uh, of course, green technology today is looked at as an emission reduction possibility. And Europe is going green with the Green Deal that has been announced. Port of Antwerp is at the forefront of this initiative through some of the initiatives we have in place as well. So, for example, there are three areas we're looking at, which is sustainable shipping, sustainable industry, sustainable energy. And some of the actions that we've taken towards these three pillars, you can say, as far as going green is concerned, is we are using alternative fuels for our own fleet. For tugboats, we are using exploring hydrogen and methanol as fuels. We have a parcel of land which is called the Next Gen District, where we are looking at inviting international industry to develop new streams of cargo, which are more focused around the concept of circular economy, energy transition, green energy. Then there is also, you know, utilization of waste heat that comes out for industrial processes. So we are trying to look at reusing that particular waste heat. So some of these sort of initiatives, the hydrogen is import cases is what we are studying. The use of hydrogen as an alternate fuel is a big hot topic around the world. So this is also something that we are trying to look at. You may have heard about a big initiative where we are spearheading. It's called the Pioneers Initiative, and Port of Antwerp has taken a lead in this. And it's basically an initiative with 46 partners, which brings together government agencies, port companies, terminal operators, transporters, and there will be 19 demo projects in this area that we are going to be working on. Things like production and supply of clean energy, sustainable port design, digitalization. We're looking at modal shift. We're looking at optimizing flows. So these are some interesting areas, and it is really well funded. About 25 million euro funding it has received, and it's sponsored by the European Horizon 2020 program. So I think this is something very interesting for us, where we are playing a leadership role, as I said. And why are we doing this? I mean, whatever we do, we are customer oriented. So how I look at it is we are striving, I think, to become a very customer oriented port, because we're going to provide a gateway that is more robust, reliable, sustainable for our customers, which means added value in terms of cost and time. So, of course, I think through these initiatives, we will be looking at, or it will translate into benefits for our customers.
Indeed, ma'am, you have told so many important things about the green technology. Why is it very useful and need of the hour? You have told about the hydrogen fuel. And I think this is something, I think we all need to understand this. And you have told so many important things. And I think it's very hard to disagree with you on this point. Ma'am, my next question to you is, robots are creating new waves in almost every sector. We are expecting the use of robots in commercial shipping to actually we have already started, as you have told about the drones and all. Along with robots, we may also see the evolution and development of sensors and remote control technologies and their effective implications so as to reduce human interaction. Then question comes here is that which is also a most controversial question, and that's why I'm taking this question. What do you think? Will automation take away all our jobs?
Remote piloted and autonomous ships is a thing of the reality, and it's also prevalent. We are having initiatives where we have remote controlled barges. So this of course is a thing of the reality, and some of the reasons why we are taking these initiatives is because of lack of experienced and trained captains.
Correct.
Also the new incumbents, they're not motivated enough, extremely low number of or flows of new people coming out in the stream. The technology is very mature, okay, and also the Flemish government in Belgium, there are regulations that are supporting it, so this encourages us to use it. However, the labor costs here are very high. It's over 50% of the cost of operating barges. So that's a big deterrent as far as manually having people. And if you look at our volumes, about 38% of our cargo volumes are through barges. So that's quite a significant volume. And hence we were encouraged to look at robotics or automation. So at the moment we do have commercial ships just operating in and around the port. That's one initiative. Having said that, as far as seagoing vessels are concerned, 10% of the costs are the labor costs. And even today, if something happens in the middle of the sea, middle of the ocean, you will always need a person attending to it. You will need that human touch. You cannot do that via robots. So there itself, I think, is one answer that, of course, it is a reality, but robotics going 100% is far from happening. And another study that I came across, this was done by the World Maritime University, and it was funded by the International Transport Workers Federation. What that study said is that by 2040, because of the advent of automation, robotics, about 22% of seafarers will lose their jobs. Having said that, they also said that there will be a requirement of skilled seafarers, be it deck officers, engineers, marine pilots, masters. So this is something to compensate it. So what does this really mean? It means that it was a signal basically for maritime authorities, workers, unions to look at skilling to the next stage. Just like in manufacturing, you're saying there is a concept of Industry 4.0, which can make manufacturing more leaner, optimized, more efficient. And with that will come the requirement of new skill sets. And I think our government, the industry is taking note of that and taking appropriate action. So similarly in the maritime and shipping industry as well, there will be, you will see personnel who will be more skilled professionals. So this way, I think, but that study also said, as far as autonomous ships are concerned, the issue there also will be the costs, the high costs that are prevalent in adopting such technologies. And also a lot of maritime regulations will have to be changed. There is no evidence of clear economic benefits. So still a lot of ambiguity around it. So we really have to see going forward what happens, but definitely not in the short-term future will these technologies replace the human touch.
All right, ma'am. I think you have shared so many important things about your industry, and I'm sure there's a lot more to learn from you. But today, I don't want to take too much of your time. So, moving to my last question of this session, and last but not least, because this is one of the most important question for all the youths those who are watching this session. What does the future hold for jobs in the maritime and shipping industry?
I think the future looks bright. You know that a majority of the volume of international trade is by sea. So seaborne trade will only grow in future. That in itself gives you great encouragement to consider a career in this space. However, like I said, skilled labor, you really have to see what the industry and where the industry is going. Look at our port, for example. You hear these buzzwords of energy transition, digitalization and innovation, sustainability. So I think in future the jobs will require skill sets that have these aspects embedded in it. So if
Correct.
you are doing courses in your universities, I think these are three aspects you can keep in mind to look at. So if you look at digitalization and innovation, uh, subjects around optimizing operational efficiency, security comes into play. If you look at energy transition, I spoke about alternate fuels, the concept of circular economy. This comes into play. If you look at marketing roles, roles like mine, where I'm a relationship manager, thankfully and hopefully, I believe that nothing replaces no amount of technology can replace a physical contact with a
Correct.
customer, right? And relationship building is just accentuates that. There are so many dimensions to it. So I really think with marketing roles you're still safer. Of course, there are too many of us, and the scope of consolidating, collaborating, and presenting ourselves and our credentials to that one customer. So that is something maybe we can look at in future, collaborating more. But yes, I really am very hopeful about this industry and the future of this industry.
That's the positive thing. And thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing all this. And it was, I think, kind of healthy conversation with you over the topic. Thank you for joining and giving your important time. That's the most important thing. And we look forward to conduct more such sessions with you in future. Thank you, ma'am, again.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Same here. Thank you, ma'am.
On the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone.